Grimm's Fairy Tales, The Three Luck Children by the Brothers Grimm. There was once an old man who was very ill. He called his three sons to his bedside. "I am old," he said, "and about to die. You have been good children, and all that I have I leave to you. I have no money. The worth of what I give depends on your making the right use of it." Then he gave to the oldest son a cock, to the second a scythe, and to the third a cat. "Take these," he said. "If you can find countries where these things are not known, they will be worth much to you." Soon after this the father died. Then the oldest son took his cock under his arm and started out. On the farms which he passed, cocks were very common. In the villages, too, he heard them crowing. He came at last to a great city. Here cocks were for sale in all the markets. No one thought his fowl at all wonderful. At last he sailed across the sea, hoping to find a land where cocks were not known. He sailed on till he came to an island. There the people had no cocks, and they had no clocks nor watches to tell the time. The light told them when it was day, and the darkness when it was night. But when they did not sleep at night, they had no way of knowing the hour. "See," said the luck child, "what a fine bird this is. It has a red crown on its head, and there are spurs on its feet. It calls out 3 times in the night to tell the hour. The first time is near midnight. The second time is between midnight and day. The last is just before day. If it calls out in the day, it tells us there may be a change in the weather." That night the people stayed awake to hear the wonderful bird. It crowed loudly 3 times, as the luck child had said it would do. The people were delighted and asked for how much gold he would sell it. "As much as a donkey can carry," he said. "That is not too much for such a useful bird," said they. So they brought a donkey and loaded it with gold. With this, the luck child went back home. Then the second brother said, "I will go and try to sell this scythe of mine." So he sharpened it well. Then he put it across his shoulder and started off. For a long time he found no sale for his blade. The farmers and workmen whom he met had scythes as good as his. At last he reached an island where the people had never heard of a scythe. When they wanted to reap their grain, they took cannon and shot it down. Much grain was shot away and wasted. Then, too, the cannon made a dreadful noise. The luck child said, "Let me show you how to cut grain." He went into a field of ripe wheat. With his scythe he cut it so quickly and so quietly that all the people wondered. "That is a most useful knife," they said. "Will you sell it?" "Yes, if you will give me as much gold as a horse can carry," said the luck child. This they were quite willing to do. They brought it to him at once, and he went back home. Now the youngest brother made up his mind to try his luck with his cat. "It is all in taking the right thing to the right place," he said to himself. So he put his cat in a bag and started out as the others had done. He went to farms and villages and towns, but in all he found cats enough and to spare. In some places there were so many that the kittens were drowned. At last he got on a ship and sailed across the sea. He came to an island where no one had ever seen a cat. Rats and mice were everywhere. They ran underfoot, they climbed on the chairs and tables. They even took food from the plates when people were eating. In the palace of the king, it was no better than in the hut of the poor. No one, whether high or low, had any piece of his life. Then the luck child went before the king and opened his bag. Out sprang the cat and caught rat after rat, mouse after mouse. "Good, good," said the king. "This wonderful beast would soon free us from rats and mice. Will you sell it?" "Yes," said the luck child, "if you will give me as much gold as a mule can carry." "That I will," said the king. The luck child took the gold and went down to the ship to set sail for home. Meanwhile the cat made herself at home in the palace. The servants were kept busy counting the rats and mice that she killed. At last, such hard work made her thirsty. She went to the servants, crying, "Mew, mew." They were frightened at this strange cry. Kings and servants and all ran away. Then they held a meeting to decide what to do. "We will ask her to leave the palace," said the king. "If she will not go, we will send an army to drive her away. It was bad to be vexed by rats and mice, but it is worse to have here this fearful beast that cries, 'Mew, mew.'" A man was sent to ask the cat to leave the palace. Poor puss was now thirstier than ever, so she ran to him, saying, "Mew, mew," as loud as she could. Away ran the man so fast that his coat tails stood out straight behind. "The fearful beast will not leave the palace," he cried. "When I asked her to go, she was very angry. She cried, 'Mew, mew,' and gave me chase. I feared I should not get away with my life." "Now," said the people, "we must use force." So the cannon was brought. The first shot frightened the cat as much as her mewing had frightened the king. She sprang out of the window and ran to the ship. It was just about to set sail, and home she went with her old master. But the people did not know she was gone. Shot after shot they fired at the palace till it was level with the ground.